Okay, hello and welcome to Girls Empowerment Talk. I am so sorry we are a little bit behind schedule today. I've been struggling with the technicalities down here. It's a pleasure to be here again, bringing you this program that is an enlightenment platform for everybody. Um, Mary, please keep that down a bit. Okay, so our guest today is Mary, and we will be talking about child abuse all over Africa and indeed in Europe. It's becoming rampant now. The difficulties that young girls, I will not say just young girls, young people, children, women are facing around the world. And if you have been following this program, you know we have been talking so much about the support structures available for girl, child, for women. But tonight we are talking about child abuse, be it boy or girl, in Africa, in Europe. And Mary will be telling us more about this. And we're going to be having conversations, sharing experiences. And of course, if you like, please join us and comment. Let's make it interactive. Mushari, Princess Betty Marconi celebrated her birthday. You know, she didn't celebrate it. We wanted to, but she didn't. She didn't want it. And we all know why. Because of the incident that happened in Zimbabwe to the young politicians. And she is asking everybody to join her in the campaign seeking justice for these three young girls, and indeed for all the ladies around the world who are facing injustice. We will be sharing details about the campaign that's going on and how you can support these young girls. We're asking for donations, we're asking for support. So we'll be sharing details of that, how you can support, what you can do to help bring justice for these three young ladies. But tonight, let's talk about child empower. I mean, not child empowerment, like child abuse. Mary is just somewhere around the corner. I'm going to bring her into the stream. Hello, Mary.
Hi, Veronica. Good
How are you?
evening.
It's good to have you
I'm
again on
fine.
the show.
Yes, it's been a little while. Yeah, I've missed you. It's good
Yeah,
to
I'm
see
pleased
your
with you.
beautiful face.
Thank you. And yours as well. Thank you for the patience as well, because I know you've been there
Yeah,
watching all my struggles with the lighting and everything. So, yes,
yes.
tonight
It's
we're
all
going
right.
to talk about something else.
Yes.
I just want you to, say hello to all our viewers and to acknowledge
Okay.
them.
Hello, viewers. It's good to see you all today again. My name is Mary Oriakhi, and I will be shedding some light on child abuse. How are you guys doing? And keep watching and stay tuned.
Okay, good. So, what is child abuse?
Okay. Child abuse is considered as when a child is intentionally harmed by an adult or by another child
Hmm.
over a period of time. It could be for a short period or a long period.
Right.
That is basically child abuse.
Okay.
There is no two ways about it.
About it. Okay. So, when the child is
Yes.
facing what we can term difficulties
Yes.
from some
Intentionally
intentional,
harmed by an
okay,
adult
about an adult. Okay.
or
So,
another child as well.
okay. And I know this is broken into so many different
Yes.
kinds,
Levels. Yeah.
levels. Okay. Do you
Yeah.
want us to
You
just,
know, okay. With the COVID-19 and the lockdown,
yes.
according to the NSPCC, NSPCC is the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children in the UK.
Right.
According to them, they've said that there has been a 20% rise in calls coming through from adults to them over child abuse.
Wow.
Adults have, yes, there has been a 20% rise. And from March, it has increased from 529 cause to 729 cause between March 28th to 19th of April.
Wow.
That's a short window,
That is
and that is
serious.
very high.
It is very
So
high.
it is very hard. So a lot of children who are at home because they are not going to school, they are not going anywhere. So
Mm,
there seems to be more anxiety now. Children are not able to let it out or talk about it. So there's
mm,
more anxiety. And then a lot of adults are having to call NSPCC to like, what can we do? How can we help? These people need help. So it's been on the rise. That's why we are here today to really talk about it. And because the lockdown is just starting to ease up, but
mhm.
between March and April, there was a 20% rise in child abuse. And that is really, really alarming. So it is important for people to be aware of this.
Okay. I mean, it's important for them to be aware. Also important, we're going to educate them tonight on what
Yes.
to do if they
Yes.
notice child,
Yeah.
that a child is facing abuse. Because it's
Yeah.
very easy when you see a child, it's very easy to notice when things are not in place. There's an instinct
Mm-hmm.
that you will just feel something is not right here. So
Yes.
if an adult notices something like that, what do we do to safeguard that child?
Okay. First and foremost, if you suspect any abuse or
Yeah,
maltreatment being done to a child,
yeah,
you call the police. 999, you call the police and report it. And if you have the numbers, the child line numbers from NSPCC, you
yeah.
can call as well. I believe at the end of the show, we'll be putting down these numbers
Okay.
um, there. You know, in the UK, by law, it is criminal
Mm.
to inflict any kind of harm on any
Any
child.
child.
The UK is in partnership with the UN, which is the Convention on the Rights of Children, that is set out that every child in the world has the right to survive, to grow, to participate in anything that they wish to do, and to fulfill their potential. So if all of this is being, if anything goes against these laws, automatically it becomes an abuse. And there are different types of abuse in children as just as well as it is in adults.
Adults.
For
Yeah.
children, we have the sexual abuse,
Mm.
we have the domestic abuse, we have emotional abuse, we have the female genital mutilation, which is FGM. We
Mm.
have grooming, is a lot. Neglect is considered as an abuse as well. We have online abuse, and then we have the outright physical abuse.
Abuse.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are all different kinds of abuse, and they are dealt with differently. They are dealt with in different approach, and different interventions are put in place to be able to manage these abuses.
Right.
So yeah, so did you say something?
No, no, no.
Okay. So there are legislations that guide the children in the UK that protects children. We have the Children's Act 1989,
Okay.
which is set out in detail that all local authorities are in the okay that what local authorities should do when there is a suspected abuse on a child.
Right.
So until a call is made, until it is reported,
Mm.
nobody will know.
Mm-mm.
The
True.
authorities will not know.
True.
The local authority will not know. The police will not know.
True.
So until it's reported, nothing can be done about it. So the child protection is everyone's issue.
It
They,
is.
according to the NSPCC, they were saying that I read that even the delivery man is beginning to report abuse because when they go to houses for delivery, they hear some strange noise, or they hear the way they see how a child is acting, or a child is trying to communicate to them that, oh, something is not right,
It's all
please
right.
help me.
Mm.
Yes, so they've been having to report as well.
Good.
Adults, neighbors in the community, in your
Excellent.
neighbors, we all have a duty of care
We
to
do.
these children to safeguard them.
We
So
do.
it is important that we report these things and to the appropriate authority.
Okay. We are just going to say hello to Elizabeth Lucas. She has
Okay.
just joined us on
Oh,
the stream.
hi,
Thank you
Elizabeth.
so much, Big Sis, for joining us. Thank you for
Okay.
your support. And somebody is asking, Because I just mentioned that it's easy to spot the signs of abuse in a child. But somebody is
Mm-hmm.
asking, can you please explain to us what signs we need to look out for
Yes.
to know that a child is being abused?
Okay. It is not general. We can't just because child abuse is different.
Different.
It is there is a general sign that you will see, but there are some that are specific to each of the kind of abuse that is happening,
Yeah.
especially in the BME community.
Mm.
If we want to look at the physical abuse, you will see things like bumps, marks on the body, and I've heard stories of cigarette burns on young children. I've heard stuff like that. So it's quite different. And with sexual abuse, you might see the child becomes withdrawn. They become very secretive. They begin to lose interest in things that are happening around them. So
Mm.
a lot of things begin to happen. So I'm just going to go one by one according to the different type of abuse, so
Okay.
that we can be able to identify those specifics.
Okay.
For physical abuse, mostly you will see hitting objects, slapping, punching and kicking and stuff like that. You
Yep.
might see bruises on the child, and you might see regular injuries constantly happening. If a child falls down today, tomorrow they fall down, next day they fall down.
Mm.
Afterwards, is it that the child cannot walk? It raises cause for concern. So you will find out that sometimes when physical abuse is happening, parents or the abuser may begin to miss appointments like doctor's appointments, GP's appointments, even the health visitors appointment. They begin to cover up stories just to
Mm.
make us so that
It's
no one will see what is going on, so that no one will understand what's going on. So broken or fractured bones or bumps in the body,
yeah.
scars and bite marks is synonymous with physical abuse.
Right.
Scarrings, and yeah, you will find scarrings as well. These are all signs of physical abuse. But for sexual abuse, you will find stuff like the child becoming withdrawn. They might become withdrawn and don't want to interact. It might begin to cause some trauma, and some mental health issues
Health
may
issues.
begin to come out, and they might not be able to talk about it because most times the abuser tries to manipulate them, to tell them that, oh, this that is going on is a secret between us. You
Mm.
must not tell
Mm.
anyone.
Anybody?
You
Yes.
must not share it. So stuff like that. You might see the child withdrawn, wouldn't want to share things at home, even with friends. So these are things we can look out for.
Okay.
On I said earlier on that there is also emotional abuse. With emotional abuse, you will find symptoms like the child beginning to become like a scapegoat. You're using the child as an example to make jokes. That's emotional abuse for a
Mm.
child. You blame the child for everything that is going wrong, and you're making jokes of them. You're upsetting them on purpose, exposing them to some sexual stuff that they are not supposed to see,
To be
some
seen.
practices that they cannot see. You shield them, you stop them from having friends, and
Mm.
they don't let them go out, even though children like to do sleepovers.
Mm-hmm.
In this
Mm-hmm.
time we are
Mm-hmm.
quite careful with sleepovers, but
Sleepover.
then if they are continuously and persistently shielded from making friends or going out or going anywhere, then it's a cause for alarm. They can
Okay.
be threatening and shouting and calling them names. These are all emotional abuse. I just want to state that sometimes abuse cannot really be seen physically. You might not tell, but if someone around is able to notice some patterns in this child, or how they act or behave
Yeah.
around a certain person,
Yeah.
you might be able to tell that something is
Something is not
going on.
right.
Yes, you will be able to tell, and then you can report it, and make sure you call 911 or you call NSPCC. There's child line that you can call. There are various areas that you can call for help.
And I mean, as we always say, they can also call Girls Empowerment Initiative
Yes.
if that's the number, that they can get first. It's
Yes.
okay to call Girls Empowerment Initiative. Let me
Yes.
quickly acknowledge the wonderful people who have
Okay.
joined us on the stream again. Bolaji Laro has joined us. And Bolaji says safeguarding is everyone's responsibility.
Yes, it is everyone's responsibility.
I do agree with her. Michael has
Yes.
also joined us, and he says change of attitude. And he says
Yes.
give give gifts. Well, I don't. Michael is trying to communicate something. I think it was when you were mentioning certain things that he was making this point. Um,
Yes.
Elizabeth also said we do have responsibility for our children. Yes, for our
Yes.
children and even for other children in the community as
Every
well.
child.
We
Yes, it
have to
is
be
our
on the lookout.
responsibility.
Can we look into the safeguarding legislation again, just for everybody
Okay.
to know what the law says. So it's not like, oh, I didn't know or I didn't hear, especially in this part of the world. As African, we love to discipline our own children in different
Yes.
ways. Um,
Yes.
but we are quick learning that in this part of the world, you can't you must not hit your child. There are other ways to discipline a child rather than slapping and kicking, the normal stuff that we do to discipline a child.
Yes.
It's the
Yes.
legislation saying concerning child abuse.
Okay. There is no two ways about it. It's outrightly it's a crime for anyone to inflict any kind of abuse on any child.
Right.
There is, if you are caught, if it's, first of all, before you can, that's the thing, before it can be the person can be prosecuted, it has to be reported. That's why when Lara said safeguarding is everybody's business,
Yes.
if it is not talked about, like my neighbor, my you can be hearing constant noise from your neighbor and stuff like that,
Mm,
and
mm,
you just think is normal.
hmm.
If you do not report it, nobody, the authorities will not know. It
No.
is illegal in the UK to hit any child of any form, to inflict any kind of harm on any child,
Agree.
whether be it sexual, whether be it physical, emotional. It, because the law already said it. There is it is the human rights law says it's there. A child has the right to live, to strive, and to be able to fulfill potential. Once you are not giving this child these things, then you are going against the law.
Hmm.
And when you are found out, you will be going to jail. There's no two ways about
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
That's just it. So before it can get to that stage, the local authority has a lot to do with this. And most times they use the Children's Act 1989 to analyze these issues and be able to like do make the right intervention for that child to be
Okay.
protected. Under section 17 of the law is of the Children's Act. It is the duty of the local authority to make sure that that child is safeguarded, and to make sure that um if there's any reasonable cause or suspect that a
Hmm.
child who lives or found in an area is suffering or
Yeah.
likely to suffer significant harm, then they have to raise a safeguarding alert for that
Hmm.
child to be placed on a child protection or a child in need. It becomes child in need when there are signs of neglect.
Hmm.
I'm coming to that as well,
Okay.
because neglect is said to be child abuse as well.
It is, yeah.
Imagine, imagine you intentionally you do not let this child go to school, or
Hmm.
when the child is going to school, they have dirty clothes on, or they smell, or they don't eat breakfast, even though there are breakfast clubs at school. They don't eat, they are not eating,
Malnourished,
feeding well.
malnourished.
These
Hmm.
are, yeah, they are malnourished. These are all signs of neglect, and that is punishable by law in the UK. You cannot do that.
Hmm.
You cannot do that. Whether, oh, some people will say, oh, it's my child, I can
Hmm.
do whatever the lies.
Yeah.
No, no, it does not work like that in the UK. So when there are signs like this, it has to be investigated for the right intervention to be put in place.
Yes. I mean, I've seen a mother on the bus a couple of years
Okay.
ago who was hitting the child. The child was naughty, quite all right. We all saw that. And then she was very upset. She didn't even know when she hit the child. And one of the ladies was saying, let's call the police. We need to report this, let's call the police. I don't know. I think she called the police at the end of the day. And the lady was saying something like, oh, like you said, this is my child. I have a right to
Yes.
discipline my child because if we don't discipline them, they become thugs in the street and
Yes.
so on and so forth. Yes,
Yes.
I mean it's okay you want to discipline your child. It's just the way, the
You
method.
do it.
Yes, you do it that you have to be careful. Mary, I want to ask for a child who is facing abuse,
Yes.
because children could be mischievous as well.
Yes.
When they do something wrong and you punish them, like, you know what, you're not going to play that game now. They go say, it's my
Yes.
right, I have a right to play the game. You're abusing me, and and they start off like, every little thing you're. But for a child who is facing abuse, what can
Mm-hmm.
that child do? What is the
Okay.
place for that child?
Most times, the child that is facing the abuse, they might not know they are. They might not know, and some of them they know.
Hmm.
And when a child is able to disclose or say that they are being abused,
Yeah.
it is important for us to listen carefully to what they are saying. It is very important to listen. A child might say something jokingly. You may take it as a joke. It is very important to listen to what they are saying, and then you act upon it. It is
Okay.
also important to let them know that it is not their fault that they are being abused.
Okay.
It is never anybody's fault to be abused, whether an adult or a child. And we have to explain as well. It is important to explain to them what will happen next when they tell us that, okay, they suspect that this might be abuse, or this might be something that is going on. And
Okay.
then you we the adults can then go on to report this.
Okay.
And we can also let them know that they are doing the right thing by telling us, because abusers, some most times, they manipulate a lot. They might tell you, oh, it is your fault, why did you say that, why did you
Mm-hmm.
share that? Or they use once they begin to use gifts to entice the child, and then they say, oh, I'm going to take it back.
Mm.
Give me back what I gave to you. So if this child begins to say stuff like that, it is important for us to tell them that it is the right thing for them to have reported it, and it's not their fault.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Michael is asking a very important question, something similar to what I was going to ask, because some of the
Okay.
children are very mischievous as well. So Michael is asking this question: why did the institutions stop us from disciplining the child? And he believes this has contributed to many indiscipline in children in the homes. And he says this has also given children power over their parents.
That's
So,
why it's easy for them to pick up the phone
and report
and
their
report
parents.
their
Even
parents.
when they have been naughty, when they have been unruly, they don't want to be disciplined anymore because the system has given the children power kind of over their parents. So every
Yes.
little thing they want to report, every little thing is an abuse. So
Okay.
why is this the case?
It is the case because there has been a rise in a lot of serious case reviews. Children are dying. Children are dying. There have been a lot of serious case reviews.
Hmm.
Children are as young as 5. You remember Baby P?
Baby P, yes.
Yes, who had chocolates on the face.
Hmm.
The parents were
Covering the
using,
bruises.
yeah, to cover the bruises.
Hmm.
Imagine
Hmm.
somebody doing that to your child. We are
Hmm.
not saying, they are not saying don't discipline your child. There are different ways you can discipline a child. But to the extent to inflict harm, that's when the problem comes. And there
Hmm.
has been a lot of rise, a lot of cause. It's according to the NSPCs, 1 in 5 children, 1 in 5
Hmm.
dies out
Absolutely.
of out of domestic abuse and sexual abuse. What do you want to gain from that?
Hmm.
That statistics already shows why there needs to be a line. There needs to be a boundary. There needs to be where it stops. Otherwise, it's going to continue.
Yeah.
And some parents do not know when to stop.
Hmm.
It can
Absolutely.
come from they might begin to project their own childhood experience on their child. or it could be that some form of resentment that they may have for the child, the parents child, for partners who are not together or stuff like that, they tend to inflict it on the child. There has to be a boundary, and it says there already, the UNCRO says there already, you have to let a child thrive. The children will be children all the time, but there are ways that you can discipline a child. If a parent is struggling, you can call the NSPCC. There is help for that as well. We have parental classes that you can attend and know how to discipline your child.
Good.
But we will not stand and say because a child can be unruly and be rude to you, you're going to inflict pain on that child, because the trauma lingers on more than that
Mm,
you getting to do that discipline at that
mm.
time.
I'm quite happy, with the way you've explained this. It's better to safeguard the child than to be sorry,
Yes,
because I would rather a child report something than keep quiet, and then the child is
yes,
facing and suffering abuse, and then something drastic
yes,
will happen to the child.
yes,
Because
yes.
if you're not abusing the child, then you have no
They
skeleton
do not have no
cupboard
cause.
in your cupboard.
And
So
you was, yeah.
what I also believe is right from when the child is little, you start putting boundaries in place.
Yes, yes.
At that stage, you don't necessarily have to beat them. When
At
you talk to
all.
them and you're firm, they can
Mm-hmm.
see because they're very smart. They know.
Very,
But
very.
if you miss that stage, then they become the master, and then it
Yes.
becomes difficult. So I
Yeah.
want to ask this question for a parent struggling, because now we don't want to uh, be accused of abusing our child, but at the
Yes.
same time, we want to maintain a kind of balance whereby we
Yes.
can discipline the child. Now, you talked of a training, Mary, that
Yes.
some parents can attend
Yeah.
that help them how to handle the children, the tantrums, and
Yes.
so on.
Parental classes.
Okay, so is this open to everybody? Is this something someone like me can say, you know what, I think I need this training? Or
Yes,
do
you
I have
can.
to be required?
Yes, you have to your local authority. There are information on the local authority. It's there. If you go to their website, I will put out some information there.
Okay,
It's there for parents to be able to call that, okay, I'm struggling in this area. I
okay,
need help.
right,
So they will gladly offer you classes. They will
right.
gladly offer you other interventions that you can use to discipline a child. I just want to quickly say this. The child calling the police is the
Hmm.
only help they know how to call,
To do.
because they practically live with the abuser in the home or wherever it may be.
Hmm.
And no, you know how it is in the UK. People don't go visiting often because everyone is busy trying to work and all of that. So
Hmm.
the first call for them to call for help is the police. So if it's becoming too much, they will call. So
Yeah,
you just have to know when and how to put your boundaries and use these boundaries to be able to caution the child. There are so many ways you can discipline the child.
absolutely, absolutely. I remember when when my first it's no, it's not my first one, it's the second one. When he was very little, we had that challenge because me, I'm an African mom, and we were brought up like someone mentioned it, I think it's Bolaji, who said child a child can be seen, not heard.
Yes,
That was the kind
yes,
of upbringing we had. And
yes.
I was beginning to transfer that to my kids, like, I'm talking, you're talking, will you keep quiet? And the child said,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, mom, I just want to explain something. So you shut up and you keep quiet. But later something
Yes,
happened. Something happened and the school got involved. So I was educated as well, like, look, these kids have a right to speak, as long as he's not
yes.
being rude to you in any way. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. Like, you have said something, he's done something wrong, you want to discipline. That is all right. Without hitting the child, you can discipline. And if the child is
Yes,
trying to explain, as you have spoken to the child, allow the child to also explain himself.
yes.
There's big work to do.
That's where listening comes
Listen.
in. You don't you I have worked with a child who almost became mute, became dumb,
Hmm.
because every time she wanted to report what the abuser was doing to her, the
Hmm.
mom will shut her down. The
Wow.
mom will say, "Oh, you're lying, keep quiet.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you're lying, go and sit down. You started your lies again."
Oh my
She
goodness.
was never able to say what was going on, and the abuser continued and continued and continued. And when it was finally being reported to the local authority,
Hmm.
she was thought to be mute
Hmm.
because she has now learned not to speak.
My
It
goodness.
took a long time with therapy and with a lot of intervention and a lot of person-centered work, and before she began to come out and speak.
Yeah.
Imagine that as your child.
Hmm.
I just want us to look at that and think sometimes.
Yeah. Seriously.
And like, yes, someone has just made a statement. Fumi Jumoke, she said, when
Yeah.
you discipline a child, you explain the reason why it's been done. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With our with our community, we are just told off. We never know what we have done wrong.
Hmm.
Sometimes we are punished, we don't know why we are punished. It is really, really important to explain to the child the reason why they are being punished. So I think that's if it's important as well.
That's very
I
important.
just wanted to state that another type of abuse is female genital mutilation.
Hmm. Wait
A
a-
lot of times we don't
Okay.
talk about this. I really wanted to go in there. Female genital mutilation is when a female's genitals are deliberately altered or removed for no medical reason.
Circumcision, they call it.
Yes, they have different names for it. They call it circumcision, they call it cutting,
Hmm.
they call it so many names in so many languages and cultures. It
Hmm.
has so many names that they might be talking about it. You won't even know that this is what they are
What they
talking
are
about.
talking about.
Yes. And this is carried out in a number of culture, religions, and for some reason, for some social reasons as well.
Yeah.
I've read that sometimes they say with FGM, it is good so that this child will not become promiscuous.
Promiscuous. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
You are not thinking of the long term effects.
No. No.
And this is predominantly common with our black minority, our
African.
black communities. I just want to state that it is a crime to do that to a child. And if you are found out, you will be prosecuted.
Okay. So
If you are caught,
we need
yes,
to stress that seriously, Mary,
yes,
because I know, I mean, in the Christian community,
yes.
in our Black African community, the Christians believe it's part of the, how do you say, I wouldn't say tradition, but it's become like tradition that as a Christian, a girl child must be circumcised on so dates, just like a
Oh,
boy child will be circumcised on so dates. And
okay.
then people are also putting up the argument that why are you stopping the girl circumcision, the FGM? Why are you not stopping the boys as well? Is there
Yeah.
anything, in defense of that?
With Christians, it's clearly about the boy circumcision. I have not read anywhere about a female circumcision, so this is quite new for me. But it's not unheard of.
Mm,
So the male circumcision, it's even a choice. A lot of people do not do it,
anymore.
but with our community, we do it
We do.
because of cultural reasons. Like we've said in other topics before, you cannot take culture away from people.
Mm,
But when it's beginning to become harmful,
yeah.
then there is a problem.
Yeah.
Then it has to be stopped. FGM is a criminal offense in the
Good.
UK.
Good.
So whether it's a form of child abuse, and a lot of our communities are doing it. We have the Ethiopian community,
Mm,
the Eritrean, Nigerians, a lot, Indonesians, and
yeah.
Sudanese, Congolese. A lot of communities are doing it for
Absolutely.
no medical reasons at all.
Hmm.
We have to look at the long-term trauma, the long-term effects of these things. In my family, I heard a long time ago that a woman had a stillbirth because she was not circumcised.
Ooh.
Yes, that the reason for her stillbirth is because she wasn't circumcised. How do you explain that? And this man took all his daughters and went to the village and went and did all the cutting he could do,
Oh my goodness.
because that is what he was told. He didn't know better.
Any better?
But these things continue. They do continue. And Dr. McConney also found that even though there are different types of FGM that is
Mm.
happening, we are aware of three. She discovered the fourth one. And
Wow.
yes,
Here in the United Kingdom.
with her research, she
Oh
discovered the
my
fourth one.
goodness.
Yes, she did. So you can imagine a lot of women suffer aftermath effects of this FGM cutting, from not able to give birth, from having not able to get pregnant, from
Mm.
diseases and all
Cystic, yes,
sorts.
I know that's one.
Even the mental health, the trauma that it causes.
Yeah.
And there has been recordings that signs for families and friends and neighbors to look out for, it's children who are being taken home during the long summer breaks.
Holiday.
These are the time that they tend to do these things. So you have to be very careful and watchful for you to be able to sense this. So when they realize that this is, they are beginning to be cut, and the authority is catching up with them, they
Mm.
tend to now bring these people from Africa to the UK to perform this act here.
This is
So
crazy.
it is crazy. So
Good.
I just wanted to say that FGM is a form
It's a
of child
criminal.
abuse,
Yes,
and
and it's
it
a
is a
criminal offense in
criminal
the United
offense
Kingdom.
to do that in the UK.
So people can say, oh, we didn't hear, we didn't know.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And
Right.
another kind of abuse I wanted to talk about as well is um the neglect. I think I've touched on that
A
before.
bit. Yeah, you did a bit.
Okay, so I would also like to talk about sexual exploitation and
Okay.
sexual abuse,
Right. That is very
because
common now.
this
You
is
know,
this is
we
very common.
if we got a recent report in Africa of a grown-up man who has been sexually abusing this 5-year old or 6-year old, I
Wow,
can't remember now, and
wow,
eventually the girl died.
wow.
And we heard he's been doing the same to the senior, to the elder sister, the one
What?
before, and then he continued with the skill. So in Africa, in Africa, this is very rampant.
It is
And
very rampant.
it's just
Rampant.
now that people, victims, are bold enough to speak
Mm-hmm.
up. And
Mm-hmm.
here in the United Kingdom as well, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
We are beginning to hear news, terrible news of child sexual abuse, sexual exploitation. What
Mm-hmm.
has the government got in place? What legislature is in place to safeguard this?
Okay. So I just wanted to say quickly that when sexual abuse happens to any child,
Mm,
it is never their fault.
mm,
I just want to always try to reiterate that every child should know that any abuse that happens to them, whether sexual, emotional, or whatever, it is not their fault, because sometimes they are tricked to think, oh, because you dressed in a certain way, that's why this has happened. Now, imagine a 5-year-old girl who doesn't even dress up, who doesn't even know anything. What could be that would be attracting an
Practice
older male figure to do this?
is a pervert.
So there are two types of sexual abuse. We have
Okay.
the contact and the non-contact.
Okay.
Mostly people think it's just unless you touch a child, that's when the
Mm,
abuse has really happened. It is not like that. It goes beyond that. Sexual touching of any part of any child's body, whether being clothed or not, it is a contact abuse.
okay.
Using a body part or object of rape or to rape or penetrate a child is sexual abuse.
Absolutely.
Forcing a child to take part in sexual abuse activities,
Activity.
it is sexual abuse. Forcing them to watch any movie
Mm,
that
mm,
looks like that, or
mm.
anything, any sexual innuendos or anything, it is sexual abuse. That is considered as non-contact, because you are forcing this child to watch these
Watch.
things. You're building a picture in their head. So
Mm.
you can imagine that child will want to go on and experiment and
Of course.
experience
Of
these
course.
things. there are definitely laws in on ground and in place to tackle sexual abuse in the UK, but
Okay.
it comes back down to whether it is reported. It cannot be seen. Recently there was there's a movie on Netflix that talks about three girls in one area outside of London. They one of them they were there's two sisters and a friend,
Right.
and one of them was being groomed to groom other children.
Wow.
Yes. One of them was groomed to groom her friends, and they were being shared and sold sexual. They were just passed around amongst friends. You can imagine the kind of trauma that's happened outside of that.
Shame.
It is a real case, but it was done in movies to be able to let people understand and be able to see the effects of these things.
Of that. Oh my goodness. So
Yes.
if you're just joining us, you are watching Girls Empowerment Talk, and this is where we enlighten people about the support available for, I mean, various circumstances that people may be going through. So if you're facing any problem, any challenge whatsoever, we've been talking about, all the challenges that girl child may be facing, the woman may be facing, and today we're talking about child abuse, boy or girl. And we just want to enlighten people watching us to be
Yes.
on the lookout. This is not snitching. People will say, "Oh,
No.
don't be a snitch." No, it's better to report a case and let the case be investigated and they find
Yes.
the
And then
nonsense,
yes.
okay, and
Yes.
everybody will be at peace, rather than you keeping quiet and then discovering that the child dies or something terrible happens to the child. You will not forgive yourself. So let's
Yes.
be on the lookout for children in our
Yes.
neighborhood,
Yes.
children, our friends, our children's friends, and so on and so forth. Let's be on the
Yeah.
lookout. Let's also support one another. I mean, if you notice something, you can also have a word with the mother. Like, what?
Yes.
I've noticed something. Is everything all right? Encourage support because the mother may not pick those signs. But if you're
Yes.
close enough and you pick the signs, you can approach the mother or the father and say, what? I noticed something. Is everything all right? And then let them be on the lookout as well to be able to support their children. And Mary has also told us that if you think you need support on parenting,
Yes.
if you go on your borrow now, if you go on the website, I'm sure you will find that
Yes.
information.
Your
Or you
local
can just
authority.
call
Yeah.
your local authority.
Your social care team. You can call the
Yes,
social care team, and you will get definitely find
the
help or
support.
support.
Yes, so
You can call 999 as well.
as well. I mean,
Yes.
it's better to be safe than to be
That's
sorry, I
sorry.
have to say.
Yes.
So, Mary, we're still talking about it's the girl mutilation, the
Yes.
that I really want us to stress upon,
Okay.
to let people understand the implication of this, especially in this part of the world. When you
Yes.
take a child outside of the country to cut the child and bring the
Yes.
child back, we need to be educating the children as well, that they need to be speaking up,
Yes.
because if they understand that the children know their right, this will
Mhm.
discourage a lot of parents. I know if
Yes.
there's a way we bully the children and say, what, if we talk, we don't talk about outside, we don't,
Mhm.
put
Mhm.
our things outside. But let us
Mhm.
educate the children as well.
Yes.
You know what? FGM is wrong.
It is wrong.
Nobody should do it to you. For
Yes.
health reasons, for so many reasons, it is wrong. If it happens to you, then when you come back, you have to report.
Mhm.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I think,
Schools are aware. Schools are aware of these things that are going on. They
okay.
are aware. So they do give lectures and talks about FGM in
Okay.
secondary schools and in primary schools. They do give talks. And I think there's also a code that they give to them also to in case if a child is not able to speak about it like at
Mm,
home,
mm,
a child is not able to tell the teacher because they are told at home, oh, don't say whatever we are doing in the house to them, or the parents does not tell them, oh, we are traveling to Africa, and
mm,
they just get them into their car to the airport and bam, they are in Africa or wherever they are going to. They have been taught to let the immigration officer
Officials.
know
Oh,
about this. So I
beautiful.
think there's a color code and band that they have to wear or say,
Okay.
and then they are able to let the immigration officer know,
No,
and
that
then they
something
can
is wrong.
alert the police. Yes,
Fantastic.
for that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're going on to the next abuse.
Yes. So I'm going to be talking about the next one. We've talked about neglect and the effects, and I'm talking about now cyberbullying or bullying whatsoever.
That is very common now.
This
Very
is
common.
very, very common.
Hmm.
This is a type of abuse.
Please educate
Bullying,
us.
yes, bullying is a behavior that hurts someone else. Includes names calling, hitting, pushing, spreading rumors, threatening, or undermining the person. It
Hmm.
is all part of bullying. Even laughing at the person and saying, "Oh, you're very fat," or
Yeah.
"You're very thin," or "You look dirty," or "Your hair, it's not this, it's not that." It's all bullying. Cyberbullying takes place online. You don't really meet the abuser face to face until it gets to a stage or a time when the abuser is asking for a meetup. So
Mm-hmm.
even when you are online, you can get people commenting that, oh, they wish you should die, you should
Mm,
kill
mm.
yourself, or they ask you to perform sexual acts that you will send to them, or that you should show yourself. These are all types of abuse.
Abuse.
So I just want every child who is listening or parents who is listening to be aware of these things.
Okay.
We have to be careful of what our children are doing online. We have to be able to monitor these things and then put they say they call it parental controls. We
Yes.
have to be
On the
able to
internet.
use this thing. But with the way the world is set up now, before you there is a new technology, children are able to break into it.
They know all about it, even more than we
They know,
do.
yes, they know all about it. So you just wonder. So you cannot be careful enough. You have to
No.
continue. So
Yes.
some things that you might look out for in a child when it's being bullied, it's some maybe at school you might see physical injuries that that are unexplainable. A
Wow.
child just have an injury. Maybe they've asked him or her not to talk,
Mm.
or you start finding out things are getting missing at home. Maybe someone is asking the child to bring something. Someone is asking the child to bring that or to buy them kicks or trainers and stuff. A child that does not work, how do you expect them to get the money to buy these things?
Mm.
So when parents should be looking out for when things are beginning to get missing at home, monies or items, these are all parts of
The signs.
signs. Yes, they are all signs of bullying. And then when a child is afraid to go to school, oh, because they've threatened him or her that if you come tomorrow, we're going to do this to you, or they are going to laugh at her or talk about her in one funny way or the other.
Okay.
So
Mm.
when they don't want to go to school, forming that, oh, they have money sickness, they want to skip school. There are some that genuinely might be sick, but you will know as a mother or as a parent or as a caregiver, you
I
will
mean,
know
you will suspect
when
something.
you will suspect something. And then problems in eating and sleeping. Bullying can lead to someone, you have told someone who is fat, oh, you look too fat. And then they don't want to eat anymore because they want to slim down so that you don't
Mm.
have to call them fat.
Mm. Mm.
So this can be a sign of bullying. And then if that child is also bullying another child or
Yeah.
bullying another person,
Yep.
this is also a sign of bullying.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
Elizabeth says even leaving the children with
With relatives.
relatives and they were taken advantage of.
Yes.
Abandoning the child is also, I mean, can also
Open
open door for
for
abuse,
abuse.
you
Yes,
know.
that's
So
neglect.
that's
That
neglect,
is
you know.
neglect.
He was
Yes.
responding to that while we were talking about neglect. So
Yes.
now this
Yes.
cyberbullying is a very common one, to
It
be
is
honest with
common.
you. You will see that the child is playing a game online, and then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden is closing down and shutting down. And you're wondering
Yes.
what's going on. And they'll say, no,
Mm-hmm.
mom, it's nothing. No, mom, it's mom.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
you pick up something like something is not right, because we need to educate all the parents out there. Not
Yeah.
every child, not everyone playing online as a child is actually
Mm-hmm.
a child.
A child. Yes,
You
I
know,
was coming
some
to
are
that.
adults and they've put
Yeah.
on accounts like a child.
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yes.
they begin to lure the children into things. So we need to
Yes.
be on the lookout.
That's right.
Seriously.
Another type of abuse is grooming. Like I mentioned before
Earlier.
in
Mm-hmm.
Rotterdam, that's about the three girls that happened. Grooming is when someone builds a relationship and emotional connection with a child or a young person
Mm-hmm.
so they can manipulate, exploit, and abuse them. That is where this comment that Elizabeth just made comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving your child with relatives. I
Mm.
just want to stress that you cannot trust anyone when
Nobody.
it comes with your child,
Mm-mm.
because what abusers do sometimes, they are close to the family to build trust so that you will never suspect that they are the abuser.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they begin to groom the children to do
Mm-hmm.
things that they normally wouldn't do.
Mm-mm.
I
Mm.
think you want to say something.
Yeah, I was going to share, one that when we were back home in Nigeria, there was a little girl that the mother used to come and drop with the landlady. Anyway,
Yes.
the landlady's son was the one exploiting the child.
Can
Well,
you
ask the
imagine?
girl to do blowjobs, they call it, on him.
Yeah.
It was one of the friends that told us. So, in case people are wondering, how did we know? It was one of the friends that told us years after that we
Mm.
know that while the mother was dropping that girl, the boy will call that girl in, like, to come and watch TV or something or something.
Oh,
People did not suspect anything. And it was
yes.
making this girl to do that thing, to do that thing. And girl was doing it until they moved. I'm sure this girl moved
Wow.
for over 2 years, and
Wow.
she didn't tell the mother. And I was wondering, did the mother not notice something? But it will be difficult because the mother comes very late in the night from work. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
when she comes, maybe the girl is even already sleeping. She will just come and carry the girl to bed. And then she dresses the girl
Wow.
up in the morning, drops her in school. When the girl closes from school, she comes to sit with the landlady. And the
Oh.
landlady's son will, it's become like a pattern. The landlady's
Mm-hmm.
son will come, call her in.
Yes.
The landlady didn't suspect anything. It was just like, it's the younger sister now. It's like a younger sister. So they didn't
Yeah.
suspect anything. And I am thinking about that girl now who is going to be a proper woman. What kind of
Mm.
mental state will this
Yes.
girl be
That she
in at
meant.
this
Yes.
age? So this is why it's important, extremely important for us
Mm-hmm.
as parents to be on the lookout for our children.
Very
Like you said,
watchful.
we can't trust anybody with the
No,
young ones anymore.
at all.
Mm,
So yeah. So I was going to add to that as well.
right.
With with our community, even when an abuse is going on,
Mm,
they cover it up,
nicely, yeah.
either because of shame or it's culture for them that, oh, when these things happen, it will make the family this, or the family
Yeah,
might be they'll shame the
shame
family
the
and stuff
family.
like that. It is important that we should talk about these things. We have to talk about it. You cannot hear a child telling you, oh, mommy or daddy, this happened, this auntie did this uncle
Mm,
did this, and
mm.
you are telling them, oh, don't say it out, so
Yeah, keep
don't
quiet.
say it anywhere, be quiet. I just want to say, when you are found that in the UK, it is a criminal offense.
Good,
As an accomplice, you will be prosecuted as well.
good.
You will be prosecuted. There is no two ways about it, because it means you are aware and you deliberately chose not to do anything or
Okay.
say anything about it.
So what you're saying now is, if the child reports eventually, or if this comes out eventually,
Yes.
and they're investigating, and the child mentions that I told my mom,
Yes.
okay, and the mom has not done anything, she has not
Anything
reported in
about
any
it.
way, so the mom will be prosecuted as well.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So everyone
And
can
I
hear.
wanted to just touch on the signs of grooming that we might notice in children. You might see a child, a young girl or a young boy having an older boyfriend or having an older girlfriend.
Hmm.
What connection? Imagine a 42-year-old man or woman having a sexual relation, not
Relationship.
sexual now, because they are grooming that child and saying,
Mm,
oh, he's my friend, and you're just 15,
mm,
you're just 13.
mm.
The age of consent in the UK is 18.
Yeah.
So if an older person of 42 or 40 or even 30 is having a kind of relationship with a 12-year-old child or a
Mm.
10-year-old, then
You
there
suspect.
is you have to question it. You have to question these things.
Yes.
Otherwise, you open room for
Hmm.
stuff to come in.
Hmm.
And then underage drinking and drug taking, you see them beginning to have money to buy alcohol and
Hmm.
buy drugs that normally they don't go to work or they don't have that kind of money. So you have to question these things. You have to check what is going on. They become secretive on how they are spending their time,
Yes.
including when they are online.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just said, oh, you want to see, oh no, mommy, nothing is
They just
going
they
on.
just close down the windows quickly,
It
quickly.
could be a sign of grooming.
Hmm. So we need to be on the lookout for that. Parents, this is extremely important for us to note, especially nowadays that kids are at home. They are
Mm-hmm.
almost 24/7 on the system and you're
Yes.
wondering what's going on. I mean,
Yes.
if someone is promising to give your child a gift, you should be concerned. The person, even if the person is a relative, they should tell
Yes.
you, not promise your child. You see,
That
we
they
need
would.
to change so many things.
Or they will say, don't tell mommy I gave it to you.
Yeah,
It's from me to you.
yeah. So you need to educate the children. It's very important. I've said to my younger one, look, you don't accept any gift from anybody. You don't
Yes.
accept even food. Anyone gives you food, you will say, thank you. Mommy said I should not take food from outside. They give you drink, don't take it because you can never tell an adult's intention. They start gradually,
Gradually.
and it's
That's where they
people.
build the trust.
Yes, and it's the people who are close to you that can do it. As an elder, I mean, an older woman can sexually abuse a little boy, so
Yes.
and a big man can abuse a
Yes.
little
A
girl.
little
So,
girl.
so we
Yes.
shouldn't say, "Oh, it's a woman." No, no. What can she possibly do
No.
to the children? You never can tell. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to be on the lookout for these children, our children, and of course the children in our neighborhood as well, because
Yes, so
as
like
you
we
know,
said before, safeguarding is everyone's
it's
concern.
everyone's
It's everyone's
responsibility.
business.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So we need to be on the lookout. So we're talking about seriously about the cyberbullying and grooming,
Yes,
which is grooming has become business. It's like
it is.
racketing now. It's big
Yes.
business now. So please,
Mm-hmm.
we need to be careful, especially if you step out and the child is old enough to stay home. You remember to tell them not to step out and not to allow
Mm-hmm.
anybody into the building because somebody can
Yeah.
be hanging around waiting for
Mm-hmm.
you to go. You don't know the
Mm-hmm.
kind of communication they're having with the child. When the child
Yes,
will start asking you questions like, Mom, when are you going out? Mom, aren't you going out? Mom, are you not supposed to be going out? Then
that's right. You know they are in a hurry for you to
for
go
you to
so
go.
that they can do what they want to do.
Yeah. So you need to be, but most importantly, let's be our children's friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that
So
they,
I just wanted to also give out some places, phone numbers. We'll put them on the screen, anyways,
okay.
just to talk about it where they can seek help as well when a child an abuse is identified,
Yeah.
where you can seek help and where you can report it to. We
Okay.
have the child line. They are 24/7. They are open and they are confidential and they are free. You can
Okay.
call them and they are online as well. Child
Okay.
line is it's there to support you and
Okay.
help you through
Do we have a
any
number for
kind of
them?
issues. Yes, the number is 0800
Yeah.
1111.
Okay. Very easy number.
Yes.
And it's child
Yes.
line.
Child line.
Okay.
And then, of course, you can call the Girls Empowerment Initiative. They
Absolutely.
are there for you. And as we know that we help to support women and young girls and
Yeah.
children, and we empower them to become better, especially those who have gone through these issues that we've outlined before,
Mhm,
cultural harmful practices, and
mhm.
all those domestic abuse, violence, and all of that. So if you give GEI a call as well, you will be able to get some support. So I just want to say for you can also call Modern Slavery Helpline. These are parts. This modern slavery is under grooming and sexual exploitation. So you can report a suspicion or seek advice. You can call
Okay.
them on 0800 121700.
Can
They
I have
have
the
a
number
phone
again? 08.
0800
Yes.
0121
Right.
700.
700. Okay.
Yes, you can call them. You
Okay.
can, the number one place you definitely will call is the police. You
It's
call the 999
yes.
and you will get
Called
help
999
definitely.
in
Yes.
UK.
Yes.
And
You can
if
also
you're
in the
if
UK,
you're in another
yes.
part of the world, please call
Yes.
the
Your
emergency
police
line,
line. Yes.
for
Yes.
or there are some charity organizations that are also
Options.
acting
Yeah.
as safeguarding for
Mm-hmm.
children. Contact them as
Yes.
well to come.
Yes, you can call the NSPCC as well.
Okay.
They do work in hand with children, and their numbers I will give to you, and then
Okay.
you can call them. They will support you as well. We
Okay.
have the Crime Stoppers. You can
What is
call them.
NSPCC? What's their number, please?
Hold on, please. Let me
Okay.
just give it to you. It's 0800.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I put it there. Okay, I'll come back to it. Let me
Oh,
just
okay.
go over the orders first so that
Okay.
we don't waste time.
Right.
So we have Crime Stoppers. You can call them.
Yes.
For
Crime
those who
Stoppers.
want to report anonymously, you can call Crime Stoppers on 0800
Yeah.
555 111.
Okay. Right. So all these
Yeah.
numbers are very important, people. Please save them on your phone, ready.
Mm-hmm.
In case you're not able to access the internet quickly, please save these numbers on your phone. Save them ready
Yes.
in case a child will need your help.
Yes. So
Okay.
you can call the NSPCC on 0808
Okay. Yeah.
800
Right.
5000.
5,000. Okay.
Yes. And you can also send an email on help@nspcc.org.uk.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. .org.uk. Right.
Yes. And I just wanted to add, we sometimes these abusers do not know what they are doing.
Hmm.
So sometimes it might be something that has happened to them from childhood. They haven't dealt with it, and they just carry on and on.
And they
So
need
there
help.
is also there is also support for them.
Okay.
They can call Stop It Now. For people living in the UK, they
Okay.
can call 0808
Oh eight
1000
oh eight. Okay.
1900.
1,000. Okay.
Yeah, they are open Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So they can help you with that. It's called Stop It Now.
Okay.
So that if you're abusing a child, or you're going through stuff that you do to children that you know that is not appropriate,
Hmm.
you can call them, and they will be able to support you
Right.
as well to stop. Yes.
Thank you so much, everybody.
You're
We
welcome.
have been talking about child abuse. Okay. Elizabeth was asking for your name. Her name is Mary.
Yes.
She's
My name is
Mary.
Mary.
So big sis, she's Mary. If you're still watching us, thank you so much thank you so much, everybody, for your contributions as well. For me, Jumoketa, which says it's important to continue to observe our children's character. I mean,
Yes.
in all, it's extremely
Yes.
important. We mustn't be too complacent, and it's also important to be our children's friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yes.
that
And
was,
show them love. Show them
yes,
that you care.
yes.
Show them that they are important, because this is their first point. They say the young girls first love or first role model is the
Mm-hmm.
father. So if you're able to show this and promote this, I don't think anything it's likely that this child will strive and grow and be able to understand the difference when a different thing is coming over to them.
Yes.
So I just wanted to quickly add that the effects of all of this abuse, it's quite traumatic, and it
Mm.
can last for a long, long time, and it takes a long time for children to be able to deal with
To
this.
get over it.
It can lead to anxiety and depression.
Depression,
It
yeah.
can lead to eating disorders,
Mm-hmm.
post
Low
traumatic stress.
self-esteem.
Yes. Self-harm, you see children begin to self-harm, especially with sexual violence. They try to remove the thoughts or the fingers of the abusers from their body, and they begin to harm themselves. They
Themselves.
begin to have suicidal thoughts,
Mm,
and then sexually transmitted infections, and then
mm,
pregnancies. These are all effects of abuse to children. You
yeah.
have feeling of shame and guilt as if it is their fault. That's why
Mm,
I said when a child tells you that they have been abused, it is important to let them know that it is not their fault,
yeah.
and it is important that you're going to tell them that you will do something about
Yeah.
it
It's
as
important to
well.
also trust and believe them when they
Them,
report.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that you believe them and you know that it is not, yes, that you believe them. You
Yeah.
have to continue to remind them that and to gain that trust back again.
Yeah. It's fantastic, Mary. And
Thank you very
I
much,
know this is a
Veronica.
topic we cannot finish in one
At
night on
all.
one
It's
show.
so it's so much. It's a
But
lot.
you have done great justice to this. Thank you for helping us to understand what the law says
Says
nowadays about all these abuses going on, especially with a young child. So people
yes.
will not feign ignorance, like, oh, I didn't know that.
I am
I
not
didn't know.
aware.
So there's nothing like that. So we keep on talking about all of these things in this platform just to educate and create more awareness.
Awareness.
So
Yes.
people remember taking your children back to Africa and saying, oh, because the crime is not committed in Africa, so they cannot be
Mm-hmm.
prosecuted. No,
You will be.
will be prosecuted when you bring the child back. Talking about FGM, female genital
Yes.
mutilation.
Mutilation.
Yes,
Yes.
some people will say, "Well, I've taken the child to Africa for circumcision, and so it did. It was the crime was
It
not
didn't
committed in
happen in the
Africa."
UK.
Yeah, in Africa, it's not a crime. In fact, it's becoming a crime all over now.
It
If
is.
you bring that child back to UK, God help you that something will happen and the child will go to the hospital.
Hospital.
Maybe the
Yes.
child will catch an infection or
That's why
something.
it's mostly done. You know, the 6 weeks holiday, the
Yeah,
summer
yeah. They
holiday,
know the child will be healing before they come
healing will
back.
be before they go back to school.
Yeah, but
But
all
you
the
will
same.
still notice signs. The child may become withdrawn.
Mm-hmm.
Or when it's time for PE, they don't want to dress up or undress where people will see their body. You will notice something.
Yes.
That's why, like we said in the beginning, safeguarding is everyone's
It
business.
is. It is. It is. So we will. I mean, the schools are doing this already, and we will
Yes.
also continue on this platform to enlighten parents. And
Yes.
if the children are watching, I doubt if they are watching at this time, but it's also important to let the children know that they have a right to report either to you directly as the parents, that's if you are not the
Mhm.
perpetrator anyway,
So,
but let
yes,
them know that if anyone is doing so and so to them, it's a form of abuse. Let
it
them
is.
understand, because when we were young, no one taught us this. That,
No.
you know what, if a man touches your boobs, or if a man pushes you, or if a man, they didn't tell us anything. We didn't know. And so these perverts were just doing what they liked with us as, as kids. But when now that we are adults, we know that these things are not right. We know
At
that
all.
these things will affect a child when they
Mm-hmm.
become adults. It will affect
Yes.
them for life. It's like a scar
Yes.
that's not healing up.
Yes.
Please,
Yes. It's traumatic.
let us be on the lookout for our children. In Africa now, the cases we're hearing majorly is sexual abuse, rape, and you can
Yes.
imagine it's terrible.
It
So
is.
we are beginning to educate everybody now. Look, there's no shame in it. You should not be the one ashamed. The
At all.
perpetrators should be ashamed, and they should be brought, to book
To
to
book.
face the law.
Yes.
So this is exactly what we should be, educating
And
our
this
children.
cannot happen if we do not take it upon ourselves to report it.
No, it won't. It won't. They won't be brought to book. They won't be prosecuted. They will go scot free, and they will continue to do it. So, but we need to stop them from doing it. So it's everybody's work.
It
We all
is.
have to cooperate on this. We all have to look out for children, even
Mm-hmm.
they are not our children, but they are the children in our neighborhood. We need.
Yes.
It's such a shame, Mary, that the community spirit is no longer there. Community
Yes.
is not what it used to be. So it's like, even if you're on the lookout for somebody, someone can say, "What's your business?"
What's your business? Yes.
Like, that's my child. Even the child can say, "This is not your business. I'm not your child. What's your business?" But
Yeah.
so,
Are you my mother? Are you my
yeah,
father?
so it's a bit hard. But still, if we suspect anything, we may not want to approach them. Call the
Yes.
police.
Yes.
Better to be safe than to be
That's
sorry.
correct.
Call the police and let them know that you are suspecting. Call NSPCC.
PCC.
Let them know that there's something you have suspected because you've noticed this and noticed that. I mean, Mary, maybe you're going to recap again some of the signs to watch out for the different abuses so that people
Yeah.
will have an idea.
Okay.
Okay.
So for I will go for bullying.
Yeah.
Like I said, you might begin to notice that things are getting lost at home,
Hmm.
and physical injuries, and the child not wanting to go to school, and
Yeah.
then they are having problems eating or sleeping at night.
Hmm.
And also they might also be bullying others as well. So this can also be a sign of bullying. And then it's and the signs of grooming, you can find out that they are having older male friends or female friends,
Hmm.
and they begin to take on drugs and alcohol, or they begin to have new things, money,
Hmm.
clothes,
Hmm.
mobile phones that you can't, as a parent, you
They
can't even
didn't provide.
explain,
Hmm.
and you know that you're not the one who has provided these things, so it needs to be checked. And then they can become very secretive about how they are spending their time online or offline,
Hmm. Hmm.
with their parents. So these are all signs to look out for when it comes to grooming.
Okay.
Also, it can be that a large for a large criminal network is operating internationally as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is specific to trafficking as well.
Hmm.
So, which is also a form of abuse. So it can be an international thing from country to country.
Mm-hmm.
They are just moving children and buying
Mm-hmm.
children for
Yes.
slavery or trafficking. So we
Yeah.
have to look out for a lot of these signs. And another sign, I said that lots of children may spend time not doing anything at home, and they just sit by themselves in their rooms, and then they might have low self-esteem as well, especially when they are being bullied at school.
Hmm.
And then for sexual abuse,
Abuse.
you can begin to find that they are more secretive, or they are getting
Withdrawn.
yes, they are getting monies that they are spending that you haven't given to them. And then for neglect, you will find out that this child may begin to look poor in appearance and in hygiene.
Okay.
And then they are having housing and family issues. Maybe the parents are moving up and down, going from one place to place, or trying to find a place to settle, or there's a change in behavior, like Fumi rightly said.
Mentioned. Yeah.
We have to look out for things like that. And then they might have health or developmental problems as well. A child who is at there's a certain way a child who is 2 years should there are milestones that they should be meeting at 2 or 3, and if they are not, then there is a cause of concern.
Hmm.
This can be a sign of neglect as well.
Okay.
So I was also looking at we're looking at signs of emotional abuse.
Hmm.
They might seem unconfident and have lack of self assurance.
Yeah.
They struggle to control their emotions. They can just lash out, and then they can be very, very quiet. And they might have difficulty maintaining relationships with friends. Like if they have friends, they are not able to um, keep a friend. They don't want to attach, or they attach too
Too
much.
much.
These are all signs of abuse,
Okay.
and they act inappropriately for their age. Imagine a 10-year-old child wants to have eyelashes,
Hmm.
wear
Hmm.
some skimping clothes,
Hmm.
or wear some wigs on their
Wigs.
head. So you have to look out for all of these
Exercise.
when they begin to act like that. Like, what is this child doing? Who is telling them they are beautiful in a certain way? And then I want to just say that parents should just try sometimes check their children's phones.
Yeah.
Their phones, you
Mm-hmm.
cannot
Mm-hmm.
overemphasize the power of online bullying, online grooming,
Women.
and social media. A lot of things go on. The things they know, you will not believe it. So
Absolutely.
you
Hmm.
will not believe it.
They
So
are
we
far
have to always look out for
advanced.
things like this. I heard a story of a person who the child was added into WhatsApp groups that she's not aware of. And then the child hasn't actually looked at these messages on the WhatsApp group. She was added by a classmate as well. And when the child was sleeping, the mother was checking the phone. And lo and behold, this WhatsApp group was about children putting pictures and videos of themselves nude
Oh.
and sharing it, and pictures and videos of other young children and laughing about it. So you can imagine the extent it can go.
Oh.
And these things are not just done in one day. Something is fueling it. Something has gone wrong.
Mm,
Something is not working for them to sort of be able to go this deep and this far
mm.
in this kind of things. So that's it generally. And I just want parents to be careful with especially with FGM.
Yes.
It is a real issue.
Yep.
It is a real issue, and the effect is long lasting. Infertility, it can lead to
Mm,
infertility. It can lead to difficulty in having sex when they are older, and it can lead to cysts and abscesses in
mm.
these young women. It can also lead to incontinence in a woman. You
Yes.
can imagine that a 12 years old girl or a 15 years suffering incontinence. It is forever until it is corrected medically. You
Ha.
don't want your child to go through all of this,
Yeah.
so we have to be really careful as
Okay.
well.
Yeah. I'm checking the UN, the World Health Organization website,
Yes, yes,
talking about FGM and the fact that it has no health benefits
at
whatsoever.
all.
It
Yes, it
harms
has no
us.
medical benefits. Yes,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They face loads of complications. So what's the point? Infections, urinary
yes,
problems, like
yes.
like you mentioned, injury to
Yes.
surrounding genital tissue, and
Mm-hmm.
shock. They also mentioned death. That it's even
Yes.
possible the child can go into shock, and
And
the
die.
child can die from the process. So it's
Yes.
risky. When the child dies in the process, there's something they say, they'll say the child has got evil spirits, the child is
Yes.
Okanje, and so on and so
Yes.
forth. So we just need
So
to be
for
mindful.
physical abuse, there might be bruises and scars that is unexplainable, and it's regular, it's a pattern, it's happening in and out. So we just have to look out for all the signs.
Okay.
And then it may also include scarring of the body, breathing problems,
Okay.
suffocation, and poisoning. These are all physical signs of physical abuse as well.
That's
So we
right.
just have to be able to look out and be able to identify what is what.
Right.
Head injuries in babies and toddlers can be a sign of abuse as well.
As well.
Like I rightly explained regarding baby P, swellings and bruises and fractures,
Mm,
vomiting and seizures, unconsciousness and breathing problems in a baby or toddler. And even if a parent is missing appointments, there are letters from GPs being dropped in the letter box, and they never
no
attend these
response.
appointments.
Mm,
No response. So they might be hiding something. So we
mm,
have to look out for those as well.
right. Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you very much. You've done justice
Thank you,
to this
Veronica.
topic tonight, as usual.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. I'm just going to go over, the wonderful people who have been contributing, to this
Yes.
program tonight. Elizabeth Lucas, thank you, Big Sis. We appreciate you. Bolaji Laro, thank you so much. Michael Ian Wansley Lewis, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us as well. Fumi Jumoke Taiwo, thank you so much. Quite an age. It's good to have you on the show as well. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your wonderful contributions, the
Yes.
questions, and the suggestions which
Yes.
I have projected. All these are very
Yes.
helpful. And
It is.
special thank you to you, Mary.
Thank you very much,
And,
Veronica, for always having me.
we will always have you. You'll
Thank
be
you
back
very much.
again. You'll be
Yes, I will.
back again, with
Definitely.
another topic. I really enjoy, the show with you, and
Thank you.
how we treat all the topics. I have learned
Yes.
a lot tonight, and I'm sure so many women watching this program as well will learn a lot, especially
Yes.
in the areas of raising the children. And if we
Yes.
think we have a challenge, we can actually approach
Your
our
local
legal authority
authority,
for
yes.
support. A lot of this was
Um,
not in
there
place.
is a lot of support.
Yeah, because I remember some 17, 18 years ago, we didn't have this kind of support. And I was
Yes.
saying when the police came to my son's school and they were saying my son reported that I smacked him and so on and so forth. I now asked the police, okay, I'm an African woman. This is how we were raised. And I didn't
Yes.
know I was doing anything wrong.
Yes.
Can we not have a kind of training or workshop or course
There are
that we can
parental
attend?
classes,
So I'm
yes.
I'm really glad, to hear that absolutely there's a course, like a course that we can attend now. So, ladies, if you know you are struggling with your children, because to be honest, there are some kids, no matter how good you are, they just pick something along the line that you can't even handle, and they become
Yes.
a handful. You will
Mm-hmm.
need help to handle this kind of child. So please
Yes.
don't hesitate. Approach your local authority. Let them know your challenge and there is help. Because if anything happens and the social services get involved,
Get involved. You'll be
then
blamed.
you will not be able to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know."
No, I wasn't aware.
There is no ignorance. How did they say in law? You can't give any
Yes.
excuse. So yes,
Yes.
I hope we've all had a nice time. Next week
Yes.
Tuesday, by the grace of God, we will be back again. Hopefully, maybe Mary will be back again soon as well on the
Yes. I
show.
will.
So I just
Thank you
wanted to
very much
acknowledge,
for
our
having me.
wonderful people before you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you everybody for watching, and thanks for your contributions and comments. And we are always learning on this group.
Yeah.
And I just want to reiterate again, if you have issues, if you can't call the police, you can always call the Girls Empowerment Initiative as well. We
Okay.
will always be here to support you. Thank you for having me, and it's a good night for us.
Okay. Good night. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you. Bye,
Good night.
Veronica.
Good night. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right, people. It's been a wonderful night on Girls Empowerment Talk tonight. We'll be having another guest soon, and we shall be treating another topic, another topical issue that affects, most of us, either as a woman or man or boy or girl. And we will learn. The important thing is we want the program to be interactive. So you are free to come on the show as well. You are free to put your comments, and we will see these comments, as the program is going on. We see the comments that you put, and we'll be able to discuss it if it's a point that you want us to discuss, and we will be able to answer if it's a question. Thank you so much for making tonight beautiful. I hope you take care of yourself. Next week Tuesday, by the grace of God, we will be back with another topic. Thank you for watching. Take good care of yourself. This is VOO. Thanks for watching again.